Hello, it's a great day. I'm super stoked and excited to be on your way again this great day. I'm about to share with you a subject that is so dear to my heart. I personally encourage you to stay glued to this channel. Your life is about to change forever. Listen up. So many people are locked up in the prison of financial bondage. Some are serving short-term sentences. Painfully, a great majority are serving lifelong sentences. Listen, without money in our life, right, lives becomes miserable. Scripture says that money is a defense, and I add, lack of it is an offense. Listen, without the money to do what you need to do, as at when you need to do them, lives becomes miserable. In today's broadcast, I'll be sharing with you some life lessons about money that has turned my life around forever. You see, like I've humorously said before, one of the greatest bailout from financial slavery is financial literacy. You cannot have much money beyond your knowledge of money. People are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You are destroyed in any area where you lack knowledge. You are deprived in any area where you lack knowledge. Do not change this channel. Get a friend, get someone you love to be connected with you. Your life is about to turn around for good forever. But before I share this life lesson, I want you to listen to one of my all-time money role model, Dr. Stephen Akintaya, how he turned around his financial situation. Don't change this dial. I'll be with you in a minute. Do have a great day. Bye-bye.
The subject of wealth is something that hasn't been taught formally. You see, when it comes to building wealth, it's either you know somebody who is wealthy, on TV. Many of us have never even one-on-one met a billionaire before. We, read about them, but we've not met them. But more important is the process to getting there. And this subject of money, we all need money. Money is important to all of us. All of us want to be able to pay bills, and particularly in this season where things are getting a lot tougher in Nigeria. Fuel subsidy removal, electricity tariff is coming, taxation will increase. If you don't take the subject of money very seriously, you will just wake up one day and you are in extreme poverty. And let me start by letting you know that wealth is a personal responsibility. No government will do it for you. Your pastor won't do it for you. Your parent won't do it for you. Your professor won't do it for you. You have to personally figure out how to become wealthy. And number two, that I want you to note that and take it very serious, okay? Small money will never be enough. Some of us just say, I'm not greedy. I just want little money. I'm sorry. Little. That word little will never be enough. In fact, the day you set out to have just little money is the day you've officially written that you want to be a poor man till you die. I'll give you a few data to back that up. Even in America, inflation is risen to the record level. What this means is if I get this wine for, let's say, normally $2, it means now I have to pay $3.50 to get it. It means that rent has gone up, cars have gone up, food items have gone up. So if all my dreams and vision in life was to say, you know what, I just want to, if I can just have $5,000 every month, I'll be okay financially. Suddenly, because of something called inflation, and it happens time again and again and again. So your lifetime, inflation will occur many times. Suddenly, the $5,000 you've said, I just want little money, and $5,000 is okay. Suddenly, you're not a poor man and you're behind on your bills. This is the reason why the concept of I just want little money never works. Because inflation keeps hitting And that's what happened. Many of our parents who we eventually categorize into poor bracket did not start as poor. In fact, I remember my dad saying to me, I was the first person to buy a car in our family, in our lineage. He had a B2 Volkswagen car. Unfortunately, years later, owning a Volkswagen means you're a poor person. But it didn't start that way. So, what does it then mean, this concept of being wealthy? Wealth is the ability to be able to have more than enough, okay, irrespective of economic situation in the nation you live in, and probably even globally. Your ability to be a rich man in Nigeria, and at the same time you go to the US, you stay a rich man. Now we can say you're wealthy. But wealth is also beyond just what you take care for you and your family. It's also your ability to have enough to give, to help, to impact the society. And for you to do that, a lot has to change. Somewhere Albert Einstein, I guess, says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it has to be different. Now, let me share my own personal story. How did I get into this world where wealth became something very important for me, and I was particular about having it? So I was born to a middle class family, or you can say lower class family. My mother was a civil servant. My father's business that crumbled by the time I was born. And so I remember at some point we were in Maiduguri and we're living in a village, no running water, no electricity. We had to trek many kilometers to even see a tarred road and then take a bus to go to school. So we're practically in the village. And that was the kind of lifestyle. If we didn't have I didn't have a bed. I did not see a water closet. I could flush a toilet until I was 13. But by the time I became a teenager, 14, 15, by 13 we moved to Kwara State. We lived in a place where there was no electricity, there was no running water. And I could see a lot of our neighbors having good cars, and we were say a bit struggling. The only car my dad bought at some point, we had to keep pushing it, and it was just embarrassing. And growing up as a teenager, I knew I didn't want this lifestyle. Going to school, my mother would have to go and borrow money from my neighbors, and it was just embarrassing. I knew this lifestyle wasn't for me. So I started reading books on money. I read my first book on money in 17, 18 called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read a book called Acres of Diamond, Think and Grow Rich. So mentally I started seeing the possibility that even though I wasn't born from a rich home, a rich family can come out of me. The possibilities are showing, for real. And fortunately for me, I lost my mother to ovarian cancer, and for me that was the last straw, because that broke the camel's back. Of course, because from reading books I started a business, I knew the direction I wanted to go. But the subject of understanding that there's nothing to love about poverty, there's nothing glorious about poverty, there's nothing exciting about poverty, it struck me when my mother died of cancer. As a civil servant, she couldn't afford private hospital, so she was going to teaching hospital for 6 months. They couldn't diagnose what was wrong with her. And then she went to teaching a private hospital, did a lot of tests, only to discover she had ovarian cancer. But it has spread. 2 days after removing the tumor or whatever it is, she died. And my mother, you see, was the most important person to me. She was special, she was everything. I'm who I am today because of the sacrifice of my mother. And of course, many other people. My mother was major. And when I checked the bill after she died, the entire bill was just a little over 500,000 naira. I said to myself, so it meant that if we had had 500,000 naira 6 months ago, my mother would have had more time to live. And I vow that day, the end has come to me and poverty. And I want to have enough so that no close direct relation to me will suffer this anymore. And that got me more serious. And I'm saying this intentionally because many of us do not realize that the reason why we're poor is because we tolerate poverty. We're still okay with it. We still feel there's no big deal. to poverty. But